Denise, tell people who may not have seen the show. I don't know why they're still listening to this show at this point,
Exactly.
But apparently, hopefully, they're captivated by us. But if they haven't seen the show, tell people a little bit about your character.
Well, this is an odd thing because I have never been less prepared to do anything than I was to come and do this show in the second season. It was like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 scenes, teensy little scenes. I've been acting all of my life since I was, 5, which is 147 years ago. I've never been so badly prepared. I didn't know who she was. I hadn't watched enough of the episodes. I didn't really know what it was. And the one thing that I did know was that I had seen one episode of Toddlers and Tiaras, which is terrifying, and very, very bad for anybody's digestive tract, I must say. And that's kind of what I knew. I recognized that primarily it's, I can't say this. Are you nationwide, Richard?
Yes.
Oh, I have to be very careful. Okay.
He's global.
A lot of course, because see, I'm so retarded technologically. I just don't do that stuff. I don't Twitter. I don't Facebook. I don't have an iPhone. I don't have an iPad. I think the internet is the devil's work. I'm on the internet because I do business there, but I just did not. I don't have a clue. Is basically what it is. But I didn't know who this character was. The only thing that I knew, because I had known some in my life, is women who were in show business who had been beauty queens often were Southern. I don't know why that is. I don't know, Stephen, you probably know. It may be some sort of sociological thing that part of living in the South, there are a lot of pageants. I mean, I've worked with and known and had friendships with people who were former Miss Americas and major pageant things. But I had in my thinking that in Toddlers and Tiaras, a lot of the pageants that they cover are in the South.
It's true.
Southeast.
It's so true. Toddlers and Tiaras, they always are, what's the word I'm looking for? Southern trailer trash. They are totally, like, they are complete, they might as well be dating their cousins and living in Appalachia.
Do you see? I was so careful to be careful, and look, he just blew the whole thing right there.
No, that's what I do.
Yes, I see. So I thought, okay, for some reason, when I got there, I don't know if I saw the crown when I was there or if I had it in my thinking. I said, they always overdress in the little bit that I've seen. Everybody, even
you totally watch every week, don't you?
Now I'm addicted.
You totally watch it every week. You watch Toddlers and Tiaras obsessively.
I do. There is no question about it. I DVR it. I watch it in the middle of the night so that if my husband is here, he won't know that I'm watching it. It gets me so angry I can't go back to sleep. I'm writing letters in my head excoriating these women and how they treat their children. I don't know if I got my friend Linda, whom you've met, Steve, I don't know if I got her addicted to it, but she's worse than I am. You cannot go. This is a very upscale, very sophisticated, very socialite kind of woman. You cannot go to a gathering with her. It doesn't matter. We're having lunch with some people after church. She brings up Toddlers and Tiaras. We're at a dinner party at somebody's house. She brings up Toddlers and Tiaras. She tells the whole story of the last one she just saw and how terrible these women are. She is much more addicted than I am, but I am addicted, and I do DVR it, and you're absolutely right. But when I started, I didn't know that much about it. But I decided I'm always more comfortable if I can bring my own clothes because I kind of like my clothes, and I might not like what somebody else gets for me. And then when I first knew Stephen, I had been in New York for a while, somewhere in there, and when I went to New York, you learned very quickly to dress in black because, I'll tell you a quick story, I had some pink suede slippers that I left in the corner of my bedroom over one summer, and by the time they were like fur-lined, and by the time I went to put them on in October, they were gray, literally charcoal gray. So you learned that black is a good idea. So I came back, and when I first knew Stephen, I didn't realize it, but he used to tease me about always dressing in black. So I had the idea to dress her always in black. And she would always be in formal wear because she was one of those deluded people. And out of that grew that this is a woman, I should start with who she is. She is the interregional head of pageants. I mean, she is the biggest of the cheeses. There is nobody bigger. She isn't only one pageant in one area or a group of pageants or a series of pageants or several states or the Southeast Quarter. It's all of them, at least on one circuit. And she was, as so many of these women are, both the mothers of the children and the judges, they are women who, as girls or even as children, were in pageants. They were beauty queens. They were Miss Southeastern Flea Farm. It didn't matter. You got a sash, you got a crown, sometimes you got a scepter. And she still wears the crown. And she still wears the heavy makeup. And she still...
And sometimes she still carries the scepter.
Yes.
I saw in an episode yesterday, I saw her waving her little scepter with the stars. So
from now on, if I'm fortunate enough to do her again, I want her to have the scepter all the time. Maybe it's tucked under her arm, maybe it's sticking out of her cleavage. I don't know. I just want her to have the scepter because I realized, of course, 2 days after I'd done that. What?
There's a continuity problem there, though, because if you go back and look at Stacey McQueen in episode 1 of the new season, the scepter is in Stacey's hair.
Same scepter?
Same scepter. I realized that at one point. I'm like, maybe no one will notice. But Stacey grabbed it and just cramped. Like somebody grabbed it, or Stacey grabbed it. And we wound up putting it in her hair.
Stacey has the best hair.
If you go watch it, but then when she gets her cornrows, it's not there anymore, so it makes sense how she got it back. Keep going.
Well, I see. Okay.
Maybe they both have scepters in much the same way that, more than one of us has...
Excuse me, there is only one person who has the scepter, thank you, and that is Miss Louise Fitzpatrick, the interregional head of pageants. Let's keep that in mind, shall we?
I also have to laugh for a second here because Denise is being so kind with bringing her own clothes, as if Pretty has this giant, like a airport hangar full of wardrobe.
It's a rack.
It's one rack, and you have to see all of us. The Pretty shopping experience. We should film that. It's me, and this season it was me and Heidi going to several thrift stores. Almost every single outfit that Dee Freeman wears, there's a store called Aussie Dots here in L.A., and we got it off this thing called the 99-cent rack, and we'll buy 10 outfits for Dee, and we'll bring them to her, and she'll try on 4 of them and go, these are good, these aren't good, and she's like, we should return these. I'm like, no, that's $6, don't worry about it, and...
Ergo, I bring my own costumes.
That's why she brings her own clothes.
And I'm trying to have enough jewelry for this character, and I'm using belts, and I'm pulling things off of Christmas decorations. And she's great fun because she is stuck back in her beauty queen years and is very much a grande dame. And this season, of course, we got to meet her daughters, which tells us something about her. I think, Stephen, as he often does, is making it up as he goes along. So you get whiplash trying to figure out where your character is coming from, which is part of the fun. And I'm just figuring out who she is. I don't know what I'll do if he doesn't use her again. I'll have all this creativity just bubbling up to the surface and, flattening out and dying. It'll be terrible.
Well, maybe she'll get her own spin-off.
Ah.
Richard.
Maybe
really?
I'll get paid.
Richard. Really?
Yeah, well,
I like the way you think.
I think big. Somebody's got to.
Would you be my new best friend, please?
You bet I will. Bet I will, without any hesitation.
Okay.
Steve,
dead spot there, guys.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was looking. To tell you the truth, I'm sitting in my. We have like an entertainment room in our home, and that's where I'm sitting as I do this. And for some reason, I looked up, and we have a. We have a shark's. I guess it's the jaw of a shark. And it's right next to a collection of shark movies because we're very organized that way. And I found myself for some reason just like staring at it, and the theme from Jaws was playing in my head, and I couldn't break myself away from it, and I don't know why. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that happened.
I'm lying on my bed, which is made, with my fuzzy black slippers on, and one and sometimes two dogs on the bed, and I'm so cold that I'm shivering while I'm talking to you and hoping it doesn't make me sound weird.
It doesn't make you sound weird at all.
Wait a minute. Did they shut your heat off? Did Ebenezer Scrooge shut the heat off? What's going on?
It's just a little drafty, I think. Or else I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. See, this is the thing. The great thing about this podcast is that it is the most laid-back place on earth. One night, I was in the middle of a podcast, and I became convinced that there was a burglar in the house, and so I took my listeners along through the house, and I had them, and I told them all, I'm like, okay, pick up your phones and dial 911 and be ready to dial another one, because at any moment I could be killed, and you will all be listening to it live. So there is certainly no reason at all to be nervous. Although I don't know, given that there are some obsessive fans out there, whether for Pretty or for General Hospital, I don't know that you should be filling their heads with thoughts of, I'm lying on my bed with my dog. I'm not sure that's exactly where you want to go.
I'm in black sweats, black, of course, for Stephen.
What are you wearing?
I could not be less glamorous at this moment.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you got to actually, as because you and Jeannie are both on the show, do you guys get to share some scenes together?
We do. We have a couple of scenes together. Stephen, am I remembering correctly? The scene with the girls has played already, yes?
Yes, that played in the second episode. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And then Jeannie and I had one together, and then we have one more.
Yes.
Upcoming.
Yes.
With Terry, with Parker.
Yes. Parker will be in that scene too.